Hello, Disney. You're going to have to redo your film again because this woman is a pig and you fired Gina Carano for far less than this nonsense.
Rachel Zegler's Snow White nightmare just hit a whole new level. What was supposed to be her breakout role has turned into a total disaster. Now, surprising rumors suggest that Disney officially fired her. So, how did this go so wrong? Is Zegler really out? And what does this mean for Disney's future? Join us as we uncover the shocking details that changes everything. From the moment Disney announced Zegler's casting as Snow White, the backlash was immediate. The internet exploded with debate over whether an actress of Colombian descent could portray the iconic fair-skinned princess. The casting choice raised questions about racial representation in Hollywood, with some fans arguing that the character's European heritage was integral to her identity. Others, however, hailed the casting as a progressive step, emphasizing that Snow White's story transcends race. Zegler addressed the controversy head-on. In interviews, she made it clear that Snow White was a fairy tale character, and that her ethnicity shouldn't be a point of contention.
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
She even stated that she was proud to be representing a more diverse, modern version of the character. Despite her confident stance, the controversy didn't die down. It only intensified. Some people accused Disney of pandering to modern sensibilities, while others were upset by what they saw as a departure from the classic Disney formula. The more Zegler defended her casting, the more the public seemed to push back. At this point, Zegler was caught in the middle of a media storm she couldn't control. While Disney had set out to make a modern, inclusive take on the fairy tale, it became clear that balancing those ambitions with the original story was proving to be a challenge. But the real shocker came when Disney decided to change one of the film's most iconic elements, the 7 dwarfs. Instead of using dwarf actors, the studio chose to replace them with magical creatures, a decision that drew immediate backlash. Fans of the original Snow White felt that this was a betrayal of the classic Disney movie, while others criticized the film for taking too many liberties with the source material.
You guys, Disney's new live-action remake of Snow White debuted this weekend, and it's an even bigger dud than anticipated.
As the controversies continued to pile up, there were whispers that Zegler herself was feeling the pressure. Sources claimed that she had clashed with the film's directors over the vision for her character, with some describing her as frustrated and exhausted by the constant criticism. While Zegler herself remained relatively tight-lipped about the specifics, it was clear that the production was not going smoothly. The moment Snow White was released, the world was ready for it. Disney had been hyping the film for months, and with Zegler, there was a sense of anticipation. Would it live up to the legacy of the original? Could Zegler's charm and voice turn the tide? Unfortunately, the answer was a resounding no. The release was met with a flood of negative reviews. Critics panned the film for its lack of originality, bland performances, and an overall sense of disconnection from the magic of the original.
I know that you've told me before that your version of Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so.
Zegler's performance as Snow White, while not universally condemned, received mixed reviews. Some found her portrayal of the character unmemorable, while others felt she was miscast entirely. As the box office numbers came in, it became clear that Snow White was struggling. It didn't take long for industry insiders to start calling it a flop. The film wasn't just failing critically, it was also underperforming commercially, a rare occurrence for a Disney live-action remake. And for Zegler, this was a blow to her career that she hadn't seen coming. The failure of Snow White didn't just affect the film, it had a profound emotional impact on Rachel Zegler. The pressure of living up to a project with so much weight behind it, compounded by the negative reviews and constant criticism, began to take its toll.
Controversy has swirled around Gal Gadot's new movie, also starring Rachel Zegler as Snow White. A lot of people don't like her. A lot of people don't like her either. She's got a big mouth. She talked trash about the original movie.
The actress, who had once been a shining star, was now struggling to keep her composure. Despite all of this, Zegler didn't seem ready to give up. She continued to speak out, continuing to defend herself and her work, even as her reputation seemed to take a hit. For better or worse, Rachel Zegler had become a polarizing figure in the entertainment industry, caught between the expectations of Hollywood and the realities of fame. The question on everyone's mind after the Snow White debacle was, what's next for Rachel Zegler? Was she a flash in the pan, or could she find a way to recover from the flop?
Neither of them make any sense for their roles. We've already covered how Rachel Zegler is a terrible choice for Snow White. Nothing about her says Snow White, and that's even leaving aside the fact that she openly detests the story, as she's said many times during this disastrous PR campaign. But Gal Gadot, who plays the Queen, the first problem is that she's the evil queen. The evil queen is supposed to be envious of Snow White's beauty, and that is just not believable. It is just not, even in a movie with magical mirrors and dwarves and all that, in a fairy tale, that strains my ability to suspend disbelief. I cannot buy that Gal Gadot is angry that she's not as beautiful as Rachel Zegler. I cannot buy that.
It's just a total nightmare for the studios. So now she's trying to sell like, oh, I love Snow White. I love everything about the whole story. Here she is more recently trying to change the messaging. This is actually Wednesday.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her.
Oh my God.
And I can only hope.
What does that mean?
That despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
This is someone who is as entitled as, I don't need your business. You know what? Maybe Disney does. Maybe you're a tool, you're a pawn in this film. You didn't write it, you didn't direct it. You have nothing to do with the creation of Snow White. Right. You should shut up and do the job.
But you're going to hire little people to play the dwarfs? That just seems like a step backwards. And then, of course, Disney instantly buckled and said, okay, we're going to add magical creatures. And then the picture of the magical creatures leaked online, and everyone just had an absolute blast laughing at it. So the magical creatures are here in the movie. The CGI dwarfs are here in the movie. It works to a degree, but it's certainly going to be a financial hit for Disney, that's for sure.
Now, for Disney, as you probably remember, all of this publicity, the Zegler interviews, the Daily Mail leak, caused a lot of unexpected, for them anyway, pre-production problems. People weren't supposed to see and understand just how unwatchable the new Snow White was going to be. It was supposed to be, kind of a surprise, but now there was no hiding it.
So just how bad? The movie debuted in the United States at #1 with $43 million. Decent, but not a blockbuster. And far below projections. Internationally, a similar story. Overseas, Snow White took in $44.3 million in its opening weekend, bringing the total to just $87.3 million, with a budget of around $209 million. That means Snow White is destined to be one of the biggest bombs in Disney history. It will not recoup.
But these guys at Disney, they're not that bright, they're not that smart, and we see that because they can't come up with any new IP. Why not write some new movies? You guys sit around, you have billions of dollars, they keep going back and rewriting the classics.
Studio, if you're a director, if you're a casting director, you've got to think twice or three times before hiring her. Listen, she's talented, she's attractive, she's got skill, but there are a lot of actresses in Hollywood who bring all that to the table and are not going to absolutely sabotage your work.
This is truly like, she has to go. I'm sorry, Disney. She has to go.
Because Rachel Zegler is a PR nightmare.
I think it's fair to say that no one can stand the star of this movie.
Now you have Rachel Zegler saying, oh, that 1937 movie, that's just, it's tacky, it's weird, we're going to change all that.
But this truly is the worst casting, maybe, in the history of the film industry. Has there been a film with worse casting than this? And I don't just mean the Snow White actress. Obviously, she's terrible, but both of them.
So much for being here, and to see this is really emotional for me, so I'm going to try to not do that. I love her. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy Snow White. Thank you, guys. Her superpower is her heart. It's nothing supernatural. It's something that all of us have.
But the road ahead won't be easy. The Snow White debacle will follow her for years to come. No matter how successful her next projects are, the failure of Snow White will always be part of her story. Some might even say that it's the kind of scandal that can make or break a career in Hollywood. The question remains, can Zegler recover? Will the industry forgive her for the flop, or will she always be seen as the face of a failed remake? It seems in the course of one movie, Rachel Zegler went from one of the most promising actors to the most hated actor in Hollywood. It's shocking. But what do y'all think? Can Rachel redeem herself, or is she just misunderstood? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and as you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe for further updates.